Listen up, boys. Forget about chasing those overpriced latest-gen tactical rifles that'll drain your entire bank account before you even buy a single optic. Right now, as we head into 2026, some of the most battle-proven, rugged, and reliable military surplus rifles are sitting in warehouses and on the back shelves of local gun shops for less than the price of a bottom-tier budget, AR-15. We're not talking about cheap, run-of-the-mill alternatives here. These are legitimate pieces of history that you can actually take out to the range and run hard. While the high-end collectors are busy fighting over museum-grade safe queens, the smart shooters, the guys who actually love the smell of burnt powder, are scooping up 14 specific models that deliver legendary reliability without that soul-crushing premium price tag. Whether you're just starting your very first collection or you're a veteran bargain hunter looking for your next truck gun, this is your definitive buying guide. But before we dive into the steel and wood, a quick safety brief. Always, and I mean always, verify your headspace and inspect that bore condition before you ever think about dropping the hammer on a surplus rifle. If you aren't sure, take it to a qualified gunsmith. It's worth the peace of mind. The Italian Vetterli Vitali M11870. This is arguably one of the most interesting Franken guns of the surplus world. These started life as black powder single shots back in the 1870s, but they were later converted to the Vitali magazine system. Then, during the desperation of the Great War, they were rebarreled once more to fire the 6.5 by 51 mm Carcano smokeless round. The bolt design on the Vitali is a unique long cocking system that feels completely different from a Mauser or a Mosin. When you cycle this action, you're feeling 19th century metallurgy at work. The conversion involved inserting a steel sleeve into the original black powder barrel to accommodate the 6.5 mm projectile. This is where you need to be an educated shooter, brother. While the action is mechanically sound, it was never designed for high-pressure modern commercial loads. You want to stick to lower-pressure surplus or hand loads to keep this old soldier in one piece. The pros? You're getting a massive piece of history for usually under $300. The long sight radius makes it surprisingly fun for slow-fire target practice. Plus, the wood-to-metal fit on these old Italians is often better than what you'd find on a late-war Soviet rifle. The cons? It's a bit of a niche shooter. The triggers are often heavy and a bit mushy due to the aged spring sets. Also, finding the correct clips for the Vitali magazine system can be a hunt in itself, often costing a good chunk of what you paid for the rifle. But if you want a conversation starter that actually goes bang for the price of a couple of high-end steaks, this is the one. The Turkish Mauser M1938. If you're looking for that legendary Mauser 98 strength, but you don't want to pay those astronomical German collector prices, the Turkish M38 is your golden ticket. While some people used to look down on Turk Mausers, the secret is out in 2026. These are some of the toughest bolt actions ever brought to the surplus market. The M38 is primarily chambered in the hard-hitting 8 mm Mauser, also known as 8 by 57 mm. Mechanically, these are large ring Mauser actions, meaning they have the extra steel and beefy locking lugs needed to handle high-pressure rounds. Most of these started as older models and were standardized in 1938 with 29-inch barrels. The massive claw extractor grabs the rim of the cartridge the moment it leaves the magazine, ensuring that no matter how fast or sideways you cycle that bolt, it's going to feed reliably. The metallurgy on the Turkish receivers is surprisingly stout, often comparable to the early Czech or German exports. The pros, you're getting a legitimate Mauser 98 action, which is the foundation for almost every modern hunting rifle, for around $400 to $500. The 8 mm round hits like a freight train, offering ballistics that rival the 30-06, making it a viable option for large game hunting. Plus, most of these still have their original bayonet lugs and cleaning rods, which is a big win for historical accuracy. The cons? These rifles are long, very long. Maneuvering a 29-inch barrel through thick brush or a tight range bag isn't exactly tactical. The recoil is also quite aggressive. If you're shooting full-power surplus ammo, expect a serious thump on your shoulder by the end of the day. The Chinese SKS Type 56. In a world where semi-auto surplus is becoming a myth, the Chinese Type 56 SKS is a genuine unicorn for the budget-conscious shooter. While Russian and Yugo SKS prices have climbed into the stratosphere, clean Chinese examples are still popping up for reasonable money. These rifles earned a brutal reputation for reliability in some of the worst combat zones on the planet. This is a gas-operated short-stroke piston rifle chambered in the ubiquitous 7.62 by 39 millimeter. The same round as the AK-47. This means ammo is everywhere, and it is dirt cheap. The fixed 10-round magazine is designed to be loaded via stripper clips, which with a little practice allows for incredibly fast reloads. One of the best technical features of the Type 56 is the chrome-lined bore. Unlike some European variants, the Chinese made their barrels to handle the corrosive primers found in cheap surplus ammo, making maintenance a lot more forgiving if you forget to clean it after a range day. The pros? It is a rugged working man's rifle that functions as a truck gun, a hunter, or a home defense tool without any guilt. The integral folding bayonet is a cool, period-correct touch that adds serious character. The cons? Don't expect sub-minute of angle precision. Accuracy usually tops out around 3 to 4 minutes of angle. The machining can be rough and the wood stocks are often made from chew wood, which is functional but lacks the beauty of European walnut. And please, for the love of history, resist the urge to bub this rifle with cheap plastic stocks and optics. The Mosin Nagant M9130. Now I know what you're thinking. Bill, wasn't the Mosin $79 with a free Spam can of ammo just a few years ago? Yeah, those days are long gone. But you shouldn't ride off the garbage rod just yet. Even with prices climbing past $300, the M9130 is still one of the most obtainable bolt actions on the market when other surplus has vanished entirely. This rifle is a beast of Soviet burden. It's chambered in the 7.62 by 54 millimeter R cartridge, which delivers serious thumping power comparable to a .308 Winchester. The action is a unique three-piece bolt design that is frankly crude by modern standards. But here's the technical reality. It is virtually indestructible. The rimmed cartridge and the robust interrupter ejector system were designed to keep this thing firing in the frozen mud of Stalingrad. Even if the bolt gets sticky from old lacquer buildup, a quick slap of the handle usually clears it right up. The pros? Ammo is still incredibly easy to source compared to other surplus calibers. You can find cheap steel-cased stuff for plinking or quality hunting loads if you want to actually hit something. It's a gateway drug into surplus collecting because of its sheer availability and brutalist charm. The cons? The trigger pull is often described as atrocious, and accuracy is usually minute of fascist at best. The safety is a nightmare to engage, requiring you to pull and twist the entire cocking piece while fighting a heavy spring. It's not refined, it's not pretty, but it will outlast you and your grandkids. While the Mosin is tough, it suffers from poor ergonomics and questionable sights. The Remington Model 760 Game Master. Imagine the scenario, brother. You're ghosting through a thick stand of timber in late November. Out of nowhere, a buck explodes from the brush 30 yards out. Boom. You take the shot, but he's still moving. In that moment, you need a follow-up, and you need it yesterday. This is exactly where the 760 earns its keep. It's a pump-action rifle, essentially the legendary Remington 8760 shotgun, redesigned to sling rifle lead. When you chamber this thing in a serious round like the .30-06, it becomes the ultimate tool for a hunter operating on pure adrenaline. People often forget that a well-worn pump action is arguably the fastest manual cycling system on the planet, second only to a semi-auto. It's got a 22-inch barrel and tips the scales at about 7.5 pounds. It swings with zero effort and points as naturally as your own finger. You're looking at anchoring game with total confidence out to 200 yards. You can find these on the used market for $500 to $600, which absolutely nukes the argument that you need $2,000 to fill a freezer. But it's the tactile experience that wins you over. That rich walnut stock, that crossbolt safety that clicks with absolute authority. It's a breeze to field strip on a tailgate. In the deer woods, they call this the faithful dog. It just works every single time. Savage Model 99. If you think the pump gun is a classic, just wait until you see our number 4. Imagine a rifle designed in the 19th century that's actually more sophisticated than half the stuff on the shelves today. I'm talking about the Savage Model 99. If you spend your time hunting the heavy timber, you understand why this rifle is having a massive resurgence. The 99 didn't just show up to the lever action party. It crashed through the front door and rewrote the rule book back in the late 1800s. While everyone else was stuck with tube magazines and round-nosed bullets, Savage released a hammerless design featuring a rotary magazine. That rotary mag was a stroke of absolute genius. It allowed hunters to use Spitzer bullets, those pointy aerodynamic projectiles, without the risk of a tip setting off a primer in a tube under recoil. That was a total game changer for the era. Depending on your configuration, it weighs in between 6.5 and 8 pounds. With a 20-inch barrel, this rifle feels like a literal extension of your body. It was born for those split-second snapshots in deep cover where a deer can vanish in a heartbeat. 150 yards, that's easy money for this platform. Whether you're running iron sights or a magnified optic, it doesn't care. And that lever throw it isn't some clunky mechanical mess. It's functional art. Cycling it feels like closing the heavy door on a bank vault. You can usually find these in the $800 to $1,200 range. And if you can track down a takedown model, you can split it in half, throw it in a rucksack, hike 10 miles into the backcountry, and reassemble it without losing your zero. Good luck trying that with your budget-friendly modern rifle. While the Savage 99 is sophisticated, the next rifle is pure, unadulterated, controlled round feed reliability, the Ruger M77. The Ruger M77. Sliding into our number 3 spot is a rifle that never needed a flashy marketing campaign to prove its worth. The Ruger M77 Hawkeye. This is a bolt gun designed by people who actually spend their time in the woods, not by engineers staring at spreadsheets. This is a pure-blood rifle, steel and walnut. You won't find any plastic bottom metal here. No corners were cut to save a few pennies or a few ounces. It features a controlled round feed system with a massive Mauser-style claw extractor. For those of us who have been in the thick of it, that claw is pure peace of mind. It locks onto that cartridge rim and doesn't let go until you tell it to. It's built with a cold hammer-forged barrel that's as tough as a railroad spike. While the rest of the industry went chasing chassis systems and skeletonized stocks, the Hawkeye just stayed in its lane. It kept doing the one thing it was designed for, delivering dead reliable performance in the field. Hunters are coming back to the M77 because they've realized that classic doesn't mean outdated. It means battle-proven. While the Ruger is tough, it still follows the lineage of the true gold standard, the rifle by which all others are measured. Coming in at number 2, the Winchester Model 70. All right, folks, that's the roster. As an expert who has spent a lot of time on both sides of the gun counter, I can tell you these rifles represent an era of craftsmanship we might never see again. These are tools, not toys. They're built to last longer than the next election cycle. But I want to hear from you, brother. Do you have one of these legends locked away in your safe? Or did I leave out a classic that you think deserves a spot on the list? Do you trust the 30-06 or the 308 in those old platforms? drop a comment down below. I make it a point to read every single one of them. If you found value in this breakdown, do me a favor and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss a briefing. Train hard, stay safe, and I'll see you out on the range.